Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're live here at Grady's Field, just minutes before the first pitch will take off today for the Xenia Scouts facing the Lima Locos here today in Xenia, Ohio. Before we get started, I'm going to give you the starting lineups for both teams. For the Scouts, leading off and in right field is Carson Wright. Batting second and in left field is Chandler Chambers. Batting in the third spot is center fielder Graham Welch. Batting in the cleanup spot is DH Ryan Bertelsmann. Batting fifth and at third base is Dugan Darnell. Batting sixth and playing first base today for the Scouts will be Felix King. Batting seventh and catching for the pitcher today is Jarrett Lindsay. Batting eighth and playing second base is Nick Tuttle. And batting ninth is Noah Orlando, and he will be playing shortstop this evening. And your starting pitcher for the Scouts is Caleb Eater, Indiana Wesleyan University native. And for the Lima Locos, starting and leading off at second base is John Privatera. Batting second and at shortstop is Michael Diffley. Batting third and at first base is Cade Beloso. Batting fourth and playing third base is Tyler Simon. Batting fifth and batting as a DH today is Anthony Amicangelo. Batting sixth and in left field for the Locos is Jackson Shirley. Batting seventh and playing center field is Jess Davis. Batting eighth and playing right field is Jarrett Smetana. And behind the plate for the Locos and batting ninth is Christian Waltman. And pitching for the Locos today is Rhett Fettner. Me and my partner Charlie Danis will be back here for the first pitch, so please don't go anywhere. This is Xenia Scouts Baseball and the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Hello and good evening, everyone. We are coming to you live from Grady's Field here on the Athletes in Action Sports Complex and Retreat Center in Xenia, Ohio, getting you set for another presentation of Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network alongside Riley Harshman. I am Charlie Danis, and Riley, last night wasn't such a great affair for the Scouts as they got pummeled by Lima 24-9, but as the saying goes, there's always a new day in baseball, and that new day has come today.
You're absolutely right, Charlie. It's a new day. There's nothing that the Scouts can do about that loss yesterday. All they can do is look forward to today, try to correct their wrongs, some of the wrongs they made last night, and try to get the W today.
So let's go ahead and get things started here in Xenia. It'll be the Locos who will come calling offensively here in the top half of the first. It will be Privatera at second, Diffley at shortstop, Beloso at first, Simon at third, Amacangello at designated hitter, Shirley at left field, Davis the center fielder, Smetana is the right fielder for Lima, and Waltman is the catcher for the Locos. And starting on the mound for Lima tonight will be Rhett Fettner. And meanwhile, speaking of pitchers, on the mound tonight for the Scouts will be Caleb Eater. John Privatera digs in, left-handed batter against the right-hander Eater. Pitches a ball, and we are underway here in Xenia. And we had some cloudy skies overhead, some rain, but looks like it is shaping up to be a beautiful night for baseball here in Xenia. But Privatera takes a strike, 1-1 the count.
You know, the Ohio saying for weather goes, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change, and it surely did today.
Eater with the pitch, and that's outside for a ball. All right, so we saw Eater start in the season opener. Saw some good things, saw some bad things. What's going to be the key tonight for Eater, Riley? Before you say that, let me go ahead and call this pitch. And this is swung on and belted out to center field, and it is going to be caught on the run. And what a nice play that time by the center fielder, Graham Welch. Now go ahead.
You know, Eater, we saw some good things. He had good control. He had good control of his fastball. So what you want to do when you have a decent outing with some good things and bad things, you want to build on the good things and try to minimize the bad things. So that's what Eater's going to have to try to do today.
So now Michael Diffley, the shortstop, will come to the plate. One out here in the top half of the first after the fly ball by Privatera. Eater rocks and deals, and that pitch is in there for a called strike as he's able to get ahead with the fastball, 0-1.
And Eater had the privilege of watching the Locos bats yesterday. They were going loco, as the saying goes, and he's going to try to keep them quiet today.
The 0-1 pitch is smacked in the right field for a base hit. Nice job of some opposite field hitting from the right-handed batting Diffley as he sends it into right field for the first hit of the game for either team. So now that'll bring to the plate Cade Beloso, the first baseman. And like many of the Locos last night, and I mean many, Beloso had a fine night at the plate. It was a game in which the Locos scored 9 runs in the top half of the fourth, 5 runs in the top half of the ninth. Those were some of the big innings for the Locos last night. Scouts are clearly looking to change that this evening as a ball was taken by Beloso.
And that 9-run fourth for the Locos yesterday was done with 2 outs. So the Scouts are going to have to do a better job of finishing innings today.
1-0 pitch on the way. Beloso swings, and that's a grounder up the first baseline, foul. In the field for Xenia, Chambers in left, Welch in center, Wright in right field, Darnell at third, Orlando at short, Tuttle at second, King is at first, Lindsay is behind the plate, and as we mentioned, Caleb Eater, the right-hander, on the mound tonight for the Scouts. Eater will look back at the runner at first. He now has a sign from Lindsay. Kick and the delivery, and it is a ball. Throw down the second, and let's see, the runner is safe. Diffley got a great jump, and it's a stolen base for the Lima shortstop as now Beloso has a runner in scoring position, working with a 2-1 count against the right-hander Caleb Eater, who hails from Indiana Wesleyan University. Eater quickly back at it. The pitch is way outside as Lindsay had to lunge to his left a little bit to catch that one. And now it is a definite hitter's count for Beloso. 3 balls, 1 strike.
And Eater here doesn't want to give Beloso anything too pretty to hit because, as we saw, those Locos can put the bat on a ball.
3-1 pitch on the way. And that is a called strike. So now we'll go full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, it would be huge for the Scouts, particularly huge for Eater. If he was able to get out of this inning without allowing a run to Lima, that would, I think, instantly get the bad taste out of the Scouts' mouths after the drubbing that they took at the hands of the Locos last night. Here comes the payoff pitch. And that is inside for a ball. So Beloso with the first walk of the game. Runners on first and second, 1 out here in the top half of the first, and we still have no score between the Locos and the Scouts. So now coming to bat will be Tyler Simon. He's in the cleanup spot, and he is playing at third base this evening. Boy, it is hot, it is humid, but then again, we're in the middle of the month of June, so not too surprising there. Eater will deliver, and this is a grounder to third. Darnell to second. And there will be a throw to first, but it will not be nearly in time to get Simon. But the main thing is the Scouts are able to get an out on the play. Beloso thrown out 5-3. Meanwhile, Simon reaching via a fielder's choice. 2 gone here in the inning. And now Anthony Amacangello, the designated hitter, will come to bat. Amacangello. That is a long last name. Right-handed batter against righty pitcher, Eater. Throws, and that misses on the inside corner. Amacangello has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 letters in his last name. Try fitting that on a jersey.
Can't be easy.
Here's the 1-0. That pitch is in there for a call strike, 1-1.
Edie here doing a good job getting some outs here early in this inning. He needs to continue that. We've got 2 here. He needs to get this third one in this jam.
Eater looks in for a sign from his catcher, Jarrett Lindsay. He'll now come set. And the pitch. And that gets away from Lindsay, and a run will score. The Locos will grab a 1-0 lead. And while they're at it, Tyler Simon is able to race all the way to third on the play. Pitch was low, got by Lindsay. Wild pitch or pass ball, partner?
I'd say wild pitch. It was low. Those are, and with the turf bouncing, it's very hard to stop those sometimes.
So Simon advances to third on the wild pitch, and definitely is able to come in to score. Eater with a grounder, out to second. Throw over to first will be in time, but the Locos are able to grab an early 1-0 lead, thanks to Diffley scoring on the wild pitch. 1 run on 1 hit, and a man left on base. We head to the bottom half of the first. Scouts coming to bat, trailing the Locos 1-0. This is Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Headed now to the bottom half of the first, with the Locos already out in front of the Scouts, 1-0. So glad that you could be along for the ride for this presentation of Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. And remember, fans, you can catch every inning of Scouts Baseball this season, even when you can't make it to the game. Charlie Danis, Franley Harshman, we're here at Grady's Field. We'll be bringing you every pitch of Scouts Baseball live all season long on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Just go to www.xeniascouts.com and click the radio tab. or you can head to youtube.com and search up Xenia Scouts Radio. We hope to have you aboard here for the 2018 season. So now the Scouts will come to bat here in the bottom half of the first. Carson Wright will lead things off for the Scouts against the Lima right-hander, Rhett Fettner.
The Scouts got to like this bottom of the first better than yesterday's bottom of the first, only being down 1.
And it'll be a ground ball over to short. Throw to first will be in time. 1 pitch, 1 out, as Wright grounds out 6-3 to the shortstop. I completely agree with you on that point, Riley, especially after, let's see here, they were down 5-0 after the first inning. So to be only down 1-0, I think that's already a victory in and of itself. So now coming up for the Scouts will be Chandler Chambers, the left fielder. A little more on the pitcher tonight for the Locos, Rhett Fettner, as he will rock and deal. And that pitch is in there for a call strike. Fettner, 6'3", 200-pound right-hander. He hails from Roanoke, Alabama. And he is War Eagle. Go Tigers. He is Auburn. He is currently playing for the Auburn Tigers. As outside for a ball. Redshirt freshman for the Tigers. As Fettner missed with that last pitch, it's 1-1 on Chandler Chambers. Chambers, a right-handed batter. Fettner with the pitch. And that pitch catches the outside corner for a call strike. As he moves ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rhett. Such a Southern name. And for those classic movie rubbers, whenever you hear the name Rhett, you think instantly of Rhett Butler from Gone with the Wind. 1-2 pitch. And that's fouled back to the screen. But we're not dealing with Mr. Butler. We're dealing with Mr. Fettner on the mound. As the count will be 1 ball and 2 strikes on Chandler Chambers. Graham Welch waits on deck for the Scouts.
And Fettner here has been throwing some nice heat, so the Scouts are going to have to be able to catch up to him today.
And that pitch gets away from the catcher. They'll check down to first just to see if Chambers checked his swing. And he did. So now the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, adding on to that point about being down 5 versus being down 1, when you're down 5 after the first inning, it's such a confidence killer. So Scouts going to have to build up a lot of confidence today.
Pitch is fouled off to the left by Chambers as the count will remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom half of the first, with the Locos already leading the Scouts 1-0. Fettner with the delivery. And that's outside it. Gets away from his catcher, Waltman.
Fettner's struggling a little bit with control now. He's had a couple wild pitches this at bat.
After that ball, we now go full. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Chambers. Again, Graham Welch waiting on deck for the Scouts. Fettner rocks and deals. That pitch is swung on and missed. That was a slider that Chambers swung through and missed. First strikeout of the game for Fettner. 2 gone here in the inning. And so now Graham Welch will come to the plate. Welch, 6 foot, 185 player from the University of Texas at Tyler. Where's number 7 on the back of the jersey? The Navy jersey that the Scouts have decided to don on this evening of June 13th, 2018. Pitch is swung on and missed by Welch. 0-1 the count. Meanwhile, for Lima, they have adopted their gray pants to go along with, let's see here, their blue jerseys with orange mixed in. Also orange stripes on the sleeves. So that pitch is inside to Welch. And might I say, Fettner looks very sharp with the stirrups, blue stirrups with white stripes to go along with orange socks as well. Makes the uniform really pop out there on the mound. 1-1 pitch on the way. That's down low for a ball. 2-1 the count.
Chambers here getting ahead early. He's going to have to try to take advantage of this. Or Welch, I should say.
2-1 pitch, down low for a ball. 3-1 the count. Hitter's count here for Welch. Trying to get on, trying to give Ryan Bertelsmann a chance to bat here in the bottom half of the first, and he has gotten off to a very nice start offensively for the Scouts. Here's the 3-1. That is swung on, and it is bounced Over to the first baseman, who will shuttle it over to Fettner, who's covering up the bag. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Scouts. We have played one here in Xenia as we head to the top half of the second. It is Lima 1, Xenia nothing. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Jason Shirley will lead things off for the Locos as we begin play here in the top half of the second. A 1-0 lead for Lima. Caleb Eater back to work, and his pitch is swung on and missed as they check with the umpire down at first base to see if he went, and he did. So it's 0-1. Eater quickly back at it. 0-1 pitch. That's fouled back towards us, so now it's 0-2. You know, I think out of any pitcher on the Scouts staff, Riley, I think tempo, I think pace is the most important for Caleb Eater. What do you think?
Eater keeps that up-tempo style, tries to keep the hitter off balance, and it can really help you.
That pitch is fouled off to the right. Count remains at 0 balls and 2 strikes. There are some pitchers that like to take their dear sweet time when it comes to delivering the ball. There are others that he catches it, put the sign down, I'm ready to go. Caleb Eater happens to be part of the latter. And this is hit out to right field. Making the catch will be right. 1 down. So now Jess Davis will come to the plate. Jess Davis, the center fielder for the Locos this evening. And Davis, 6'1", 185-pounder. Bats from the left side. He is a redshirt freshman at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, UAB. Originally from Kearney, Missouri. And the Kearney, Missouri native lines out to the shortstop. Nice play by Noah Orlando. Boy, I tell you what, Noah Orlando has really impressed me with his glove so far this season, Riley.
He's been doing great over there at shortstop. That's one of the most important positions in the infield. He's got a lot of balls hit over there, and Orlando's been fielding quite well.
So, now Jarrett Smetana will come to the plate. Smetana playing in right field tonight. And he is a local boy. That pitch is down low for a ball. Ohio native. Goes to Kent State University. 6'4", 230 pounds. Boy, you want to talk about really, really good college baseball programs as Eater rocks and deals. That'll be a fly ball out to left field, and the catch is made. Kent State, that is a baseball program. 1-2-3 inning for Eater. We head to the bottom half of the second. Locos 1, Scouts nothing. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. In baseball, success requires a combination of strength and conditioning. When it's time for the Scouts to work out, they head to Snap Fitness. Snap Fitness, the official gym of the Xenia Scouts. Heading to the bottom half of the second, Lima with a 1-0 lead over Xenia. Leading off the bottom of the second will be perhaps the most impressive hitter for the Scouts so far this season, Riley, and Ryan Bertelsmann.
Bertelsmann has shown so far this season they can hit the ball to any part of the field that you throw it to them at. And that's just a very good sign of a good hitter. Bertelsmann, we haven't seen too much power, but we've seen that he can put the ball anywhere in the outfield that he wants.
It's time for Bertelsmann to try to apply some of that launch angle stuff that we keep on hearing at the major league level. I bet if he could get a hold of one, he could send one right out of here. So he'll go to work against the right-hander Fettner. And how about this? Bertelsmann was trying to bunt his way on, trying to send a bunt up the third base line that rolls foul. Okay, a little bit of a change-up right there.
A little bit, but we have seen some speed from Bertelsmann. We've seen him steal a couple bases with ease, so speed is another part of his game.
0-1 pitch on the way from Fettner. And that is taken for a call strike, 0-2, the count on Bertelsmann. Bertelsmann, good athlete, redshirt freshman at Baylor. The Bears are expecting big things from this young man in the not-too-distant future. 0-2 pitch on the way. That's outside for a ball, 1-2 the count. Bertelsmann, Darnell, and King, the scheduled hitters for the Scouts after Xenia went 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the first. Fettner has his sign. Delivers. And again, he's outside with the fastball. 2-2 the count on the Scouts' designated hitter, Ryan Bertelsmann.
Bertelsmann doing a good job here, seeing some pitches, wants to try to get this pitch count up on Fettner.
2-2 pitch. It's a bouncer. Out to shortstop. Bertelsmann hustling down the line, and they just get him by a step. 6-3 put out by the shortstop, Diffley. So one gone, and now Dugan Darnell will come to the plate. We've seen Darnell play a little bit of everywhere on the field so far. Last night he was at shortstop. Tonight he's at third base. Bats from the left side. Batting number 5 in the Scouts' batting order today. And Darnell, he's got some pop in that bat as well from the left side. Hoping to showcase that tonight as he takes a pitch just high for a ball. 1-0 the count on the Scouts' third baseman, Darnell.
And Coach Cates is going to need that left-handed bat this season. We know how important it is to have good hitters on both sides of the plate.
Pitch inside to Darnell. 2-0 the count on Dugan.
And Darnell here quickly getting ahead. He's going to need to try to take advantage of this 2-0 count, find a pitch he can drive somewhere.
2-0 pitch on the way. Darnell swings and hits one over to the shortstop, Diffley, who throws over to first. And for the second straight time, a Scout grounds out to the shortstop, Diffley. 2 out in the bottom half of the second.
We're seeing Fettner is emerging as a ground ball pitcher as he's produced 4 already. So Scouts are going to need to do what they can to get that ball launched in the air.
So now Felix King will be tasked with trying to keep this inning going for the Scouts. King playing at first base tonight. Fettner with the pitch and outside for a ball. Saw Felix King after last night's game, like a lot of his teammates there, were bummed by the final result as he takes a pitch inside. But what I've come to really like about Felix King is he's got an infectious, positive attitude. Told me last night, don't worry, we'll get him tomorrow night. King takes a strike on the outside corner. 2-1 the count. And you know what? You need players like that.
You definitely do. Baseball is a game where there's a lot of games, there's a lot of action. You just have to be resilient. You have to have that short memory. Just know that there's another game tomorrow that you can win.
2-1 pitch on the way. King takes a strike. It's now 2-2, and King steps back, rather disappointed in himself that he took that pitch. So now he'll recalibrate, get back into the right-handed batter's box against the right-hander, Fettner. Fettner has his side, and he'll deliver. And that's outside, so now we'll go full 3-2. Well, at the very least, and we didn't see this a lot from the Scouts last night, Riley. They're making Fettner work out there, a lot of 3-2 counts.
Yeah, they're making them work. You got to see some pitches when this starter gets out on the mound. You got to try to see some pitches.
Payoff pitch is bounced down the third base line. This is going to be a tough play, and it is going to be made by the third baseman, Simon. Once again, the Scouts go down 1, 2, 3, 2 innings in the books here at Grady's Field. It is Lima 1, Xenia nothing. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Yeah, I'm sorry, but top half of the third here at Grady's Field. Kind of getting a little ahead of myself. Lima up 1-0 over Xenia. So the Locos come to bat once again. And this time it'll be Christian Waltman. This will be the first time that we have seen the Locos catcher tonight. And Waltman will take a ball outside. Want to know the count.
Eater doing a good job here early, keeping his pitch count down in these innings. He's doing a good job of getting 3 outs and quickly.
The pitch. Eater with a 2-0 pitch. And that is inside for a ball. It'll be Waltman, Privatera, and definitely the scheduled batters for Lima this inning. 3-0 pitch. That's inside. Not a good start for Eater as he walks Waltman on 4 straight pitches. That is the second walk of the game for the Scouts right-hander. Back to the top of the order we go for Lima as Privatera gets set to dig in.
And tough break there for Eater. Walking the 9-hitter on 4 pitches is something a pitcher never wants to do, because you got to think that 9-hitter is probably not the best hitter on his team. You got to think you can get an out there, but Eater unable to even throw a strike.
So let's see if Eater can bear down here as he'll go to work against Privatera. Privatera with a deep fly out to center his last time up as he'll take a strike. 0-1 the count.
That's exactly what Eater needed. He's back to the top of the order. We saw how good the top of this order was last night, so Eater needs to do the best job he can here, try to get these guys out.
Caleb Eater sets. Now he throws over to first, and diving back into first base is Waltman safely. 0-1 count on John Privatera, the Loco second baseman, as the shadows slowly but surely are starting to creep in here at Grady's Field. The pitch. That is swung on and missed by Privatera. Actually, that was a foul ball. Got just enough to stay alive right there. So now it's an 0-2 count on Privatera. Eater will look back at first. The pitch. That's up high. Count will move to 1-2 strikes. Waiting on deck is Michael Diffley for the Locos.
That was a good waste pitch there by Eater, throwing that ball up high, try to get Privatera to chase.
Eater delivers. That is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Privatera goes down swinging. First strikeout of the game for Caleb Eater. 1 gone here in the top half of the third, and now Diffley will come to bat with 1 out and a runner on first. Diffley singled, stole a base, ended up scoring from third thanks to a Eater wild pitch back in the first inning. And that right now is the difference scoring-wise up there on the scoreboard. 1-0 in favor of Lima, at least at the moment. Pitch is taken for a ball by Diffley.
I think Eater needs to pay a little bit more attention to that runner on first. Doesn't want him to get too far off and get into scoring position.
Eater wanted to get another out. Boy, would a ground ball be great right here. The pitch. That dots the outside corner for a call strike. 1-1 the count. So far, I think his fastball command is on point.
Been very good today. Putting that fastball exactly where he wants it, hitting the outside corners, hitting the black. That's exactly what Eater needs to do to keep this Locos offense quiet.
Eater has his sign. 1-1 pitch. That's down low. Lindsey doing a nice job blocking that one at the plate, keeping it in front of him. 2 balls, 1 strike after that pitch. Diffley right-handed batter against the right-handed throwing Eater. And they're wanting to stretch Eater tonight, have him go multiple innings. 2-1 pitch. That's down low for a ball, 3-1. So now a hitter's count for Diffley. Riley, how should Eater approach this next pitch?
Eater doesn't want to give him anything too pretty here to hit. Eater wants to try to keep this ball low still. He's been doing a good job so far keeping the ball low. He's missed a couple pitches here, but he shouldn't let that shake his confidence. Just needs to keep this ball low.
3-1 pitch from Eater. That's up high. That is a ball, and that results in a walk for Diffley. That's the second walk of the inning for Eater, third of the game, and that moves Waltman over to second.
And you do not want to walk these Locos, as we saw last night with 22 hits, I believe it was. They can get on base on their own, so you don't want to give them too many bases because they'll make you pay for it.
Okay, Beloso will now come to bat. He walked his last time up. So now runners on first and second. This is a big moment here for Eater. If he expects to go deep into this game, he's got to get himself out of this jam. And this is a ground ball that will find its way into center field for a base hit. They're going to send the runner, and the ball gets past the center fielder, Welch. 1 run will come in. Now they're going to send another runner in, and he will score as well. Well, that's unfortunate for the Scouts right there as Beloso sends a rocket into center field. Credit him with a single and an RBI. And then another run comes in to score on what looked to be a fielding error by the center fielder, Welch, as he just simply let the ball get by him that time.
And that's a very tough play for Welch. He's got to come up with that ball. He's trying to throw it before he fielded it, and that's exactly what resulted in the error.
Pitch taken for a call strike by Tyler Simon. He reached on a fielder's choice his last time up. So Beloso with an RBI single. Also another run coming in to score thanks to the error by Welch. That'll be an E8.
And Eater's got to do his job here. He's got to forget about that last play. He just has to focus on what he can control.
So Eater now working with an 0-2 count. Still only 1 out here in the top half of the second. There's a fly ball out to left field. Welch will now give chase, and he'll make the catch. Runner will stay put at second. F8 for Simon, and now Anthony Amacangelo will come up to bat once again. He grounded out the second his last time up. 3-0 lead for Lima. Eater looking to staunch this recent Lima onslaught. Keep it at a 3-run deficit. Don't want to let it get out of hand like it did last night. That pitch in there for a call strike. 0-1 the count.
And that's what Eater needs. He needs to keep staying ahead on counts. Best way to do that is throw first pitch strike, and he's been doing that pretty well so far today.
0-1 pitch on the way. That's down low. As Lindsey with a nice block that time at home plate. Amacangelo slaps one to right field. It will fall for a base hit. They'll send the runner. He will come in to score, that being Beloso. An RBI single for Anthony Amacangelo. And the Locos, stretch their lead now 4-0. 3 runs have crossed the plate for Lima here in the top half of the third.
Eater here has to calm down. He's let this inning get away from him a little bit, but needs to have that short memory as we've talked about and just try to bear down. He's only got a runner on first now. Doesn't have to worry about somebody scoring on a base hit. Just needs to bear down here and get this last out.
Jared Lindsay talked with his right-hander Eater for a moment on the mound. Now he's back behind home plate as Jackson Shirley comes to bat once again. He flew out to right field, and that's a wild pitch right there as it gets by Lindsay that time. And the runner, Amicangelo, is able to move up from first to second on the play.
Eater has to forget about that last pitch here, letting that runner slide over to second. He just needs to bear down, get this last out. He's got a good defense behind him today.
Eater sets and throws. That's down low for a ball. 2-0 the count. 2 out here in the top half of the third. 3 runs have already crossed the plate for Lima, who now leads the Scouts 4-0. Eater just trying to get out of this inning. What Lima was able to do so well was hit with runners in scoring position with 2 out. That pitch is down low for a ball. 3-0 the count. In fact, Riley, if I remember correctly, that 9-run inning that they had in the 4th inning, all those runs came in the score with 2 outs.
You're absolutely right, and that's exactly what Eater needs to avoid here, allowing any more runs to fly through with 2 outs.
3-0 pitch upcoming from Eater. Needs a strike right here. The pitch. That's up high for a ball. And that will be another walk for Eater.
Not an awful walk. You don't want to walk anybody on 4 pitches, but now he's got force outs at third, second, and first. Makes it a little easier for the defense to get this last out, but also makes it easier for the Locos to score more runs.
3rd walk of the inning for Eater, 4th of the game for the Scouts right-hander. Now Jess Davis will come to bat once again. He lined out to short his last time up. So now runners at first and second, 2 out with the Scouts with 3 runs already in. Pitch taken for a call strike by Davis.
Another good job of Eater coming back with the first pitch strike after the 4-ball walk.
Davis waiting, left-handed batter. 0-1 pitch. That's down low, and it gets away from Lindsay, and Lindsay doesn't know where the ball is. Now they're going to send a runner over to home plate. Throw to Eater, and the runner is out. Amicangelo tried to score on that wild pitch, but luckily Lindsay was able to throw it to Eater just in time, and the inning is over. But 3 runs cross the plate for the Locos on a couple of hits. They leave a man on base. As we head to the bottom half of the third, it is Lima 4, Xenia nothing. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Yeah. We're doing on-base percentage today. Yeah.
I'll talk while you put that together. All right. I'll go ahead and come back. You just do your thing. Got it. Let's now head to the bottom half of the third here at Grady's Field. Scouts have some work to do offensively as they trail Lima 4-0. Jared Lindsay will lead things off for the Scouts, as Fettner will wind and deal, and that pitch is fouled off to the left. In just a moment, we will share with you tonight's trivia question, which we present to you traditionally in the third inning. Fettner still out there on the mound. And still taking on Lindsay. 0-1 the count so far. The line score looks like this for both teams. Locos 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors in the field. Scouts, meanwhile, no runs, no hits, an error in the field. Pitch is taken by Lindsay for a strike. Now it's 0-2.
Fettner's done a good job of getting ahead on the Scouts hitters today, and does that again here in the third.
Fettner back with the pitch. Just missing the outside corner. He was wanting to ring up Lindsay with that pitch. So now the count will move to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lindsay, Tuttle, and Orlando, the scheduled batters for the Scouts here in the bottom half of the third. The pitch by Fettner. That's down low for a ball, so now we're all even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And as I just said, Fettner doing a good job getting ahead of hitters, but he's also doing a good job of letting them back into the count. So the Scouts are going to have to cash in on these opportunities.
2-2 pitch. Lindsay swings. It's a grounder up the third baseline. Fettner with a throw over to first, and it pulls the first baseman off the bag. Okay, that's going to be a very interesting scoring decision right there because Lindsay is a catcher, runs better than an average catcher, but you would think that Fettner had more than enough time to throw. Would you give him a base hit or an error on that play?
I personally give him the base hit because Fettner fielded the ball. That ball chopping to the third baseman, that's got to be the third baseman's ball because he's going towards the ball. He's going towards first, towards where his throw is going, whereas Fettner was going away from where he was throwing the ball.
And it looks as though that the people in the press box, people arming the scoreboard, agree with us. They have marked that as a hit. First hit of the night for the Scouts as a ball is taken outside by Tuttle. Let's go ahead and get you tonight's trivia question. Which Major League Baseball player holds the record for best career on-base percentage? As Tuttle working with a 1-0 count against Fettner. The pitch. And is swung on and missed. Is it A, John McGraw, B, Babe Ruth, C, Barry Bonds, or D, Ted Williams? Pitch by Fettner is swung on. It's a grounder up the third baseline, foul. Again, your choices are A, John McGraw, as in, yes, the manager. He was a pretty good player. B, the Sultan of SWAT, Babe Ruth. C, Barry Bonds. Or D, Ted Williams. We'll give you the answer in the bottom half of the third. Player that holds the best career on-base percentage. 1-2 pitch. Tuttle offered at it and checked his swing.
That was a very nice breaking pitch there by Fettner. We could see it pretty well up here from the box, that thing moving across the plate. Just missing the plate, though, and Tuttle here is going to have to do what he can to get back into this at-bat.
2-2 pitch upcoming here to Tuttle. Here it is. And this is swung on and fouled off to our right. Out of play. Noah Orlando waits on deck. The shortstop for the Scouts. Meanwhile, Tuttle and Fettner once again going mano-a-mano. 2-2 pitch. That's outside, so now we'll go full 3-2. Okay, Riley, do you think about sending the runner on this next pitch?
I think you have to think about it. Got to try to get somebody in a scoring position one way or the other. And if Tuttle's going to send him there with a walk or a hit, or if you got to take it yourself. So I definitely think Coach Cates wants to get a guy on second, get some scoring going.
Here's the payoff pitch. And Tuttle swings and misses as the impressive at-bat continues for Nick Tuttle.
Tuttle doing a good job here, lengthening the at-bat, getting that pitch count up for Fettner, and he's going to try to get something in play here, maybe a hit, get something going for his team.
Tuttle, who hails from the Masters College, working with a 3-2 count against the righty Fettner. Once again, the payoff pitch. And that is outside for a ball. Great job by Nick Tuttle there, forcing a walk. And now the Scouts have a couple runners on base, first and second. There's still nobody out here in the bottom half of the third. And now Noah Orlando comes to the plate.
And that last at bat, it does a couple things mentally to players. For the pitcher, Fettner, he just lost that. He was up 0-2, he was up, and he lost the batter there. So it shakes his confidence a little bit with his control. Also hypes up the scouts because that was a very good at bat. They could hear them here up in the press box, getting rowdy in the dugout. So it could be a momentum changer here for the scouts.
So Orlando now digs in. This is the first at bat for the night for the scout shortstop. Fettner with the pitch. And that's outside for a ball. So Fettner not hitting the strike zone as much as he would like. As the count moves to 1-0. Fettner sets. Looks back at second. Now delivers. That pitch. It's a grounder. Orlando. And Fettner fields it. And it gets away from the second baseman. A run is going to come in to score on the play, as Orlando is able to move up to second on the play as well. Fettner, the pitcher, was the one who fielded the ball, tried to throw it to the second baseman, Privatera, but the throw got away from Privatera, skipped into center field, allowing Jarrett Lindsey to score on the play. The Scouts are on the board. They still trail Lima 4-1.
And that's the second fielding mistake Fettner's made today. Earlier this inning with Lindsey's infield single, he should have let that ball go to his third baseman because he had a better play on it than right there, not making a good throw, making it off balance, and it led to a run scored. And now Scouts got two guys on second and third, some ducks on the pond here for the top of the order.
Carson Wright will now bat. Wright grounded out to shortstop his last time up. He'll take a strike. So, by the way, on that play, so let's see. Orlando reaches via the fielder's choice, advances to second on the throwing error by the pitcher, Fettner, E1. Pitch is inside for a ball. 1-1 the count. So, after all that melee, Tuttle stands at third. Orlando, he's sitting pretty at second. And Wright, he's looking to drive both of them in right here. 1-1 pitch on the way from Fettner. And Wright takes it inside. 2-1 the count.
And like I said, the momentum here has shifted towards the Scouts. They got two guys on, top of the order, no outs. There's a lot that they can do this inning. Try to chip away at that lead. It's only 4-1, and whereas last night it was a lot more. So Scouts got to do what they can to stay close here.
2-1 is the count on Carson Wright. He's got runners in scoring position, and the Scouts are looking to take a bite out of this Locos lead. The pitch, Wright sends it into right field. It's a base hit for the leadoff hitter, Wright. A man will come in to score. Throw to home, and it gets away from the catcher. Both runs come in to score, and moving up to second on the play is Carson Wright. Scouts head coach Bubba Cates gambled there, sending the second runner. You knew that Tuttle was going to score easily on the play. The question was, would Orlando get in there safely? The throw got away from the catcher, Waltman. Two more runs come in to score, and now the Scouts are only down by one, 4-3, and they got the tying run at second base.
What a great piece of hitting there by Carson Wright. Got an inside pitch and drove it out there to right field, coming up big for his team.
And I don't know if Lima might consider a pitching change. This has already been a relatively rough inning for Fettner as he's given up 3 runs. By the way, on that last play, give Wright a single. He moves up to second. They did not. Yes, they did. They charged the Locos with a throwing error by the right fielder, that being Smetana. So 3 runs have crossed the plate. And now Chandler Chambers will come to bat.
Chambers here is going to have to try to do what he can, keep this rally going with no outs.
Runners breaking for third. Throw to first will not be in time. That was a very veteran baseball move by Bubba Cates right there. As he put the runner in motion, he already knew that there was a batter in the right-handed batter's box, which means that the throw from the catcher, Waltman, even if he had gotten it off, would have been very, very tough. That is some good piece of strategy right there, as Chambers will bring back the bunt. 2-0 the count. How about that? Another gamble by Bubba Cates.
And this gamble pays off, as you said, was aware of what was going on, had Chambers at the plate, fake show bunt, make it harder for that catcher to make the throw.
Chambers pops it up, and it'll be foul overhead of us. So that'll be 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now he's got that tying run only 90 feet away opposed to 180.
Carson Wright will take his lead off of third. Meanwhile, Fettner, boy, had a 4-0 lead, but could see this game getting tied here as Chambers, ball gets away from the catcher. And coming in easily to score is Carson Wright. How about this turn of events? After falling behind 4-0, the Scouts have now rallied back with 4 runs of their own here in the bottom half of the third. And get this, there is still nobody out in the inning.
Nobody out. Tie ball game is a brand new game here, already here in the third. Right back to 0-0 almost.
The pitch is fouled off at the plate by Chambers. So now it's a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. By the way, so what an eventful trip around the bases for Carson Wright. Singled, advanced to second on that throwing error by the right fielder Smetana. Stole a bag to get the third, and then scores on a wild pitch. Get that man an oxygen tank. 3-2. That's inside. So now the go-ahead run will be on base as Chandler Chambers is able to get a walk out of that at-bat. So now Graham Welch will come to the plate. He grounded out to first his last time up, 3-1.
And as Fettner has struggled, I just saw number 31 for the Locos. That'd be Jordan Marks head out to the bullpen. So got to think if Fettner allows a couple more runs here, then he's going to get pulled.
Welch will take a pitch inside. By the way, Riley, I think this provides an excellent opportunity for us to give the listeners the answer to tonight's trivia question. And so we will revisit our trivia question in just a moment here after this pitch to Welch. And Fettner throws over to first, runner back in time. All right, so our trivia question tonight. Which former major leaguer holds the record for best career on-base percentage? Was it A, John McGraw, who, by the way, was a good player in addition to being a good manager? Fettner with a pitch, and it's grounded off to the right. Was it B, Babe Ruth? Was it C, Barry Bonds? Or was it D, Ted Williams? Riley, I will let you talk about the answer.
I would like to think Ted Williams because, as we mentioned a couple of trivia questions ago, he does have the best career batting average. Batted over 400 a couple times. Very good hitter, a guy who can get on base.
1-1 pitch is hit into right field, and oh, what a catch by Smetana that time as he was able to dive to make the play. So the fly ball was caught by Smetana. And now the runner is caught in a rundown. Throw to second, not in time. How about that? Chandler Chambers was caught in a pickle right there, but Chambers was able to elude the tag at the last moment at second. What happened there, Riley?
Just a little confusion there. The Locos weren't really ready. It was Chambers. Got stuck in the middle of some action there and was able to slide by the second baseman trying to tag him and get to the bag. Looks like the Locos weren't prepared to have a little pickle today.
Ryan Bertelsmann now batting. Bertelsmann will foul it off to the right. Well, Riley, you would be correct. Ted Williams was the man who had the highest career on-base percentage. Williams, how high was it?
Almost 50% of the time he came up to the plate, he got on. That's very impressive.
0-1 pitch. And the pitch is taken outside for a ball. Later on in the game, we'll talk extensively about on-base percentage, about how important of a stat it's really become in recent years.
I think something we should note is current player Joey Votto, number 9 on that all-time OBP list.
Oh, he's an on-base base machine. As that pitch is taken high and inside by Bertelsmann. 1-0 the count. 2-1 pitch on the way from Bertelsmann. It's a grounder, out to short. The throw to first will be in time for the second out of the frame. 6-3 in the scorebook.
Bertelsmann's still doing a job there, moving Chambers from second to third. Got Darnell up here. Hopefully Darnell, with 2 outs here, can get one more run across for the Scouts and give them the lead here.
Chandler Chambers, he sits at third base. So an RBI opportunity right here for Darnell, who grounded out to shortstop.
We've already seen a couple wild pitches from Fettner, one resulting in a run for the Scouts, so anything can happen in this game.
The pitch. Darnell takes it inside for a ball, 1-0 the count. So 4 runs have crossed the plate for the Scouts. This game is knotted at 4. Darnell takes it inside. 2-0 the count. Well, you got to figure that Fettner has got to come with a strike right here. Throw something over the plate. Darnell looking for a good pitch. Two-one pitch on the way. 4 runs on only 2 hits. They leave 1 man on base, but the Scouts are back in this ball game. We head to the top half of the 4th. Locos 4, Scouts. Likewise, you're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. How about that? Awesome. Von Halen. All right, let's see if Peter can make this stand up now. That's going to be the question. Bottom half or top half of the 4th here at Grady's Field. And it's a brand new game after a 4-run 3rd inning for the Scouts. We are knotted at 4 between the Locos and the Scouts. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis. This is Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. However you may be watching or listening to our broadcast, we thank you very much for joining us this evening. As that pitch is fouled off to the left, out of play. And that is Jess Davis who swung at that pitch. He'll be the leadoff hitter in this inning for the Locos. It'll be Davis, Smetana, and Waltman. The scheduled hitters for the Lima Locos, the defending Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League champions, by the way. They had an excellent 2017. As that pitch is inside for a ball.
You know, no one liked that big ending by the Scouts offense there in the 3rd, more than Eater. Had a lot of time to rest.
0-1 pitch on the way. This will be bounced up the first base line. It'll be fair. And Felix King, oh boy, that was called foul at the last moment by the first base umpire. I thought that was a fair ball for a moment.
I agree with you there, partner. It went over the bag, and usually that results in a fair ball.
But instead, Davis will get another chance to bat right here. So now with this being a brand new ball game as it is, tied 4-4 between the Locos and the Scouts, let's see what right-hander Caleb Eater can do right here. Eater will deliver a ball. 1-2, the count. Control has been an issue for Eater early on in this game, but perhaps with some new life given to him by his teammates on the scoreboard, things can improve a little bit, and that will help as that'll be a lazy fly ball into center field. Welch will come in to make the catch for the first out of the inning.
Good start for Eater there. And as I said, he really liked that offensive explosion there for the Scouts that last inning, gave him plenty of time to rest, and also gave him some confidence knowing that this game is tied, his offense is behind him, his defense is behind him, and he's ready to get some outs and help his team win.
During this inning, we'll get you scores around the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League, but in the meantime, the pitch by Eater is inside for a ball to Jarrett Smetana, who flew out to left field his first time up. Already a final today as Licking County was able to beat the Monarchs 6-2. That was a seventh inning game. There was a rain out at Licking County last night, so the Monarchs and the Settlers are going to be playing a doubleheader. Smetana with 2-0, and that is a grounder over to third. Darnell with the throw, and a strong throw. It brought King off the back, but King was able to make the tag at the last moment for the second out. Nice job by Felix King over there on the other end.
Yeah, great awareness by King. That's something a lot of first basemen struggle with, leaving the bag to make that catch. King had no problem doing it. He just knew he had to swipe behind himself to try to get that tag, and he did it. Very good job by King over there at first.
Eater now pitching to Christian Waltman, the catcher. Takes a strike, 0-1. Top half of the fourth at Hamilton. The Joes are trailing St. Clair 4-2 as that pitch is grounded over to third. Darnell with another chance. He'll throw over to first. And the Locos, how about this, go down 1-2-3. Something that we did not say all that much last night. Good inning for Caleb Eater. We head to the bottom half of the fourth. The Scouts and the Locos are tied at 4 here at Grady's Field. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Hey fans, a friendly reminder, you can keep up with your Xenia Scouts on social media, even when the boys are on the road. Please follow us on Twitter, @Xenia Scouts, like our Facebook page, or check out our official website, www.xeniascouts.com. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Charlie Danis, Riley Harshman bringing you the action tonight from Grady's Field, the home of the Scouts, located on the Athletes in Action Sports Complex and Retreat. Felix King now leading things off for the Scouts here in the bottom half of the fourth. The Scouts and the Locos tied at 4. Pitches up high for a ball. 1-0 the count to King, who grounded out to third his last time up. So let's see if that momentum from that 4-run third inning carries over here to the fourth inning for the Scouts as Fettner gets back to dealing, and it is a foul ball up the third base line for King. The count is now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And, of course, we will get you updated with other scorers around the GLSCL during this inning.
And Fettner, kind of conversely to Eater. Eater had that long break. He was able to come back, get that quick 1-2-3 inning. And Fettner, conversely, had that long inning up there on the hill against the Scouts and had a 1-2-3 for his own team. So he didn't get that much rest. So now he's right back out there.
1-1 pitch on the way. And that pitch just misses inside for a ball. Cincinnati leading Muskegon 5-3 in the bottom half of the third. Irish Hills up 2-0 over Richmond in the bottom half of the fourth. The pitch is swung on, and it's grounded to third. Throw over to first will be in time as King grounds out the third for the second time tonight. One gone here in the bottom half of the fourth. Southern Ohio and Saginaw, they're being held up due to rain at the moment. And then coming up later on tonight, let's see here, we got Licking County playing host to Lake Erie. Actually, I gave that score, Licking County and Lake Erie, in a tight one. And finally, Galleon getting set to take on Grand Lake, the Mariners, later on this evening. So those are the scores around the GSL. Let's see, the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League. So that would be the GLSEL. I'm going to get it at some point. 0-1 pitch coming to Jarrett Lindsay. Lindsay swings, and it's a fly ball out to right field, but this will hang up for Smetana, who will make the catch. F9, 2 down.
Scouts have been fortunate enough to take what the defense has been giving them. Had quite a few walks, some errors, aid in their run support today. So they gotta. Now that the game's tied, they're gonna have to try to create some runs of their own.
So Nick Tuttle, the second baseman, he'll dig in. Right-handed batter against right-handed throwing Fettner. Here's the pitch. That's outside for a ball. 1-0 the count.
And the Locos still have someone warming up over there, so you think if Fettner gets into any trouble at any point here, he's going to be given the boot.
Tuttle will swing and hits a ground ball right back to Fettner, who will throw on to first for the final out of the frame. For the third time tonight, the Scouts go down 1-2-3. 4 in the books here at Grady's Field, and the Locos and the Scouts, they are tied at 4 apiece. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Top half of the fifth here at Grady's Field. The sun starting to set here in dear old Xenia, Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us for this presentation of Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Charlie Danis, Riley Harshman bringing you the action tonight. It's a 4-4 game between the Lima Locos and your Xenia Scouts. And Caleb Beater still out there on the mound for Xenia. He's getting set to take on John Privatera, who's 0 for 2 on the night, with a fly out to center, and a strikeout swinging. The pitch. Privatera swings and misses as he took a mighty hack at that breaking ball. 0-1 the count.
Eater's been doing a good job mixing his breaking balls with his fastballs here so far in this game, so we're going to look to see that continue.
That pitch is up high for a ball. Well, I mean, the fact that he has pitched already into the fifth inning, Riley, I believe that, if I have my numbers correct, this is the deepest that we have seen a Scouts pitcher pitch into a ball game thus far.
I believe you're correct.
And a ground ball over to short. Orlando will toss across the diamond, and the throw will be in time for the first out of the inning.
Eater doing a good job there, producing a ground ball. Knows he has that good defense behind him. He's going to have to continue to trust them so he can continue pitching in this game.
Michael Diffley now will come to bat. And each time he has gotten on base and scored in his first 2 times up, singled and scored back in the first, walked and scored back in the third. The pitch. It's going to be a grounder. This is going to be a tough play. Well, actually, it'll roll foul at the last moment. Thought for a moment that Eater might have to pick that one up and try to throw it over to first in the best way possible, but he's able to avoid that type of scenario, and Diffley, in the meantime, will have to come back to the batter's box.
Eder and Dugan Darnell over there doing a good job of reading that ball. Notice that it was probably going to go foul, so they let it go. Didn't want to put Diffley on for a mistake.
You know, I wonder how a turf field like this would affect the spin on that ball as opposed to just a dirt field.
Well, yeah, there's differences with turf spin and normal field spin.
As that pitch bounces up to the plate, want to know the count?
But it wouldn't affect it too much in that instance where a ball is about to go foul or not. It mainly would affect the fielder as the ball is being hit towards them.
1-1 pitch on the way for Meter. And that gets away from Lindsay. Looks as though the Eder's having a tough time throwing the breaking ball on those particular pitches right there. So let's see if he can rebound here. 2-1 on Michael Diffley.
Fastball's got to be his best friend here.
Diffley pounds the plate in anticipation. 2-1 pitch. That is in there for a call strike. We're now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cade Beloso waits on deck for Lima. 2-2 pitch. And this is skied into foul territory. King will give it a look. King almost made the catch, but it drops in foul territory, keeping Diffley's hopes alive.
That was a good effort by King there. It was good for him to realize how close to the fence he was. You could see as he was tracking down the ball, he was also looking to see where he was on the field. And sometimes, the ball will just fall, but it's no harm, no foul.
2-2 pitch upcoming here for Meter. By the way, during this inning, we will get you updated with scores around Major League Baseball. And we actually have a few finals to pass along to you when we get the chance. 2-2 pitch. That is just outside. So now we'll go full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And boy, you could tell by the body language of Eder out there on the mound, he wanted that pitch in the worst way.
He definitely wanted that pitch, but he's going to have to forget it. Try to get him here.
The pitch. Swung on, and did he foul it off? Yes, he did. So Michael Diffley is able to stay alive by the slimmest of margins. Barely got a piece of that ball. Wow. So Eder now will have to go back to the top of the hill. Eder now steps back on the pitching rubber. Diffley will make his way back into the right field batter's box, or the right-handed batter's box, I should say. Eder the pitch. That is fouled off to the right. We'll stay full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, 1 out. Here in the top half of the 5th of a tied game between the Locos and the Scouts. 4-4. The pitch. That's up high for a ball. And Diffley, for the second time today, walks.
And Eder just needs to forget about that hitter. It's a very, very good at-bat there by Diffley, but Eder just needs to keep his head down and keep trotting. He's got 1 out. He needs to try to put a ball low here, hopefully produce a ground ball and get out of this inning.
5th walk of the game for Eder. As Cade Beloso will come to the plate. Beloso, a left-handed batter. Points his bat out towards the mound. As Beloso's ready. Eder with the pitch. And that is blocked by Lindsay. Throw over to second, and the runner is out. The gamble for Diffley does not pay off. 2-4 is the putout. 2 gone now.
What I believe just happened right there is Diffley slid, I guess would be the word. The bag, he slid and fell off the bag, and Orlando, I believe, still had the ball on him, got the tag, and got the out.
1-0 pitch is outside for a ball, 2-0 the count. Well, that's big right there. That now clears the bases. And now 2 gone here. 2-0 pitch. Swung on and missed by Beloso. I can go ahead and pass along to you a couple of finals in Major League Baseball today. Braves blanked the Mets 2-0. The Rays shut out the Blue Jays 1-0. And the Brewers, they blanked the Cubbies today 1-0. As that pitch gets away from Lindsey. 3-1 the count. A couple other finals as well. Red Sox beating the Orioles 5-1 earlier today. The Pirates eke out a 5-4 win over the Diamondbacks out there in the desert. And a game that has just gone final, the Mariners beating the Angels 8-6 as a strike is taken by Beloso. Beloso will tap the plate, wiggle the bat around. Here comes the payoff pitch by Eder. It is swung on and grounded over to second. The throw by Tuttle to first. King has it, and that's it for the Locos that inning. So they get a runner on, the Locos do, but at the end of this inning, no runs, no hits, and nobody left on base. We head to the bottom half of the fifth with the Scouts and the Locos tied at 4. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
77 pitches for Eder.
Okay. I think all things considering, I mean, he's done a great job. I think he's done a great job tonight.
Yeah, he has.
All right. All right. Yankees are already up 3-1 over the Nationals. Boy, Didi Royce had a great game last night. 2 homers. I hope he gets
That's good to see.
Yeah, I hope he gets things turned around. He has
yeah.
such a great April. Such a great April. And then it just...
So, when they come up, Xenia comes up again, I want to go try to take pictures. You want to sneak out here and help him do some stuff?
You can stay on and I'll come out. I'll come over.
One of you.
Yeah, I'll go over. You stay on.
You mind him? Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Wait, you ready? Yeah. That's next inning, right?
Yeah, when it's Scout.
Okay.
Right, you want him to come on with you?
Bottom half of the fifth here at Grady's Field. Tied at 4 between the Scouts and the Locos. Orlando takes a strike. That being Nora Orlando. He is the shortstop tonight for the Scouts. Reached on a fielder's choices last time up and came around to score during that 4-run inning. 4-run third inning for the Scouts. And now he has a 1-0 count. And it is still Rhett Fettner out there on the mound for the Locos. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and it's a bouncer over to short. The throw to first, way over everybody's head, and Orlando is going to motor on into second on the play. Boy, oh boy, I don't know if it was the grip or what, but that thing was airmailed, and I don't even think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would have been able to catch that ball. It was way over the head of Beloso. That'll definitely be a throwing error on the shortstop, Diffley. So Orlando will definitely take that. E6 on the play.
That's the second time there's been some throwing errors for an Orlando at bat.
Pitch from Fettner to Carson Wright, taken for a ball. I mean, Riley, you played some baseball right there. What could have gone wrong on that throw by Diffley?
Well, the thing that could have gone wrong, to his transition, that can always be something that happens when you get your throwing hand into the glove. Sometimes you just don't grip it right. Sometimes you fumble it a little bit, then you rush yourself. So it's a multitude of things, but I think it happened on that transition because he struggled a little bit on the transition.
So now Carson Wright has a chance to put the Scouts ahead here. Right. And it gets away from the catcher. That almost hit Wright. And Orlando is able to move up to third on the play. Okay. Let me paint a scenario for you, Mr. Harshman. Orlando's got speed. Wright has shown the ability to put down a bunt. Are you thinking suicide squeeze on here? Is that in the realm of possibility?
It's in the realm of possibility, but this is the leadoff hitter, and Wright had a nice rip in the right field his last at bat. And Fenner's also shown that he can throw a few wild pitches, so I think Case is going to let him stay home here.
2-0 pitch just outside for a ball. 3-0 the count on Carson Wright. Well, either way, things looking pretty good for the Scouts right here. 3-0, and that's inside. So Carson Wright will take a walk out down to first base after that pitch. A couple other scores around Major League Baseball as Chandler Chambers gets set to come to the plate for the Scouts.
Number 16, Chandler Chambers.
And it looks as though, actually, that there might be a pitching change here for Lima.
I think Fettner's seen his last batter.
And it looks like that is the case. So there will be a new pitcher on the mound for the Locos. We will step aside. It is the bottom half of the fifth here at Grady's Field. And the Scouts looking to break a 4-4 tie between them and the Locos here. New pitcher coming up for Lima. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Pitches exactly to Fettner. That's that Jordan guy, I believe. 31. Jordan Marks. Yeah, Jordan Marks, 6'2", 190, goes to South Carolina. University of South Carolina, upstate.
Ooh.
I actually had a teammate play there.
Really?
Yeah. He graduated last year. Well, actually, he redshirted, so I guess his last year would have been this year. Actually, still.
All right, let's go back. Still here in the bottom half of the fifth. Scouts and Locos tied at 4. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis. And Riley, a new pitcher on the mound for the Locos.
Yeah, we got Jordan Marks out there on the mound. It goes to University of South Carolina upstate. Big 6'2", 190 right-hander.
And now he faces Chandler Chambers. Chambers. Look. Third turnaround, the first. I have never seen that move succeed ever in this ball game.
I guess its only true purpose is to keep those runners honest.
The pitch. Chambers with a bunt. The run is going to come in to score, and Chambers is going to be safe. Perfectly placed bunt by Chandler Chambers that time. Put the pitcher in no man's land, and the Scouts grab their first lead of the night, 5-4.
That was a great butt by Chambers. Put it right in between the pitcher and the first baseman. Had to make them communicate, figure out who was doing what, and the second baseman couldn't get there in time. And Chambers got aboard with that infield single on the bunt.
Still nobody out here in the bottom half of the fifth. 5-4 in favor of the Scouts as Graham Welch will take a ball. Runner going. Welch with the bunt. Both runners will move up, and Welch, with a very successful sacrifice bunt, did his job right there as he moves both runners into scoring position, right to third, Chambers to second.
And that's just baseball 101 there. Man on first and second, nobody out. You got to think bunt, and that's exactly what Welch did. Put down a great bunt, did his job.
And now the man who has arguably been the best hitter for the Scouts for the first few games of the 2018 season, Ryan Bertelsmann, comes to bat. He has grounded out the shortstop his previous 2 times up. Pitch to Bertelsmann is taken outside for a ball. So already 1 run in here for the Scouts, in the bottom half of the 5th. But of course, Xenia is looking for more.
Definitely, they know that the Locos can put the bat on a baseball, so they want to try to get as big as lead as they can.
Bertelsmann fouls it off to the right. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Some other scores around Major League Baseball for you. Middle of the 4th in the Bronx, the Yankees trailing the Nationals 4-3 in that game. Top half of the 5th in Philadelphia. Phillies currently being blanked by the Rockies 6-0 in that affair. End of the 4th in Detroit. The Tigers trail the Twins 2-1. The pitch is up high for a ball. Bertelsmann working with a 2-1 count. Bottom of the 5th in Miami. The Marlins and the Giants tied at 2. White Sox and the Indians, they are scoreless after 1 inning. As Bertelsmann takes a strike. 2-2 the count now on Bertelsmann. Padres leading the Cardinals 2-0 in the bottom half of the 1st in St. Louis. The Reds and Royals scoreless in the top half of the 2nd in KC. And finally, the A's hosting the Astros at 10:05. The Dodgers hosting the Rangers at 10:10. Bertelsmann swings and fouls it off to the right.
So far this season, Bertelsmann done a very good job of hitting the ball with 2 strikes on him. Looking to do the same here, try to bring a couple runs in.
Bertelsmann with a 2-2 count. The pitch. Bertelsmann swings. It is going to be gloved by the shortstop, and the throw gets away from the first baseman. 2 runs come around to score. The throw by Diffley was true, but Beloso dropped the ball, lets it get by him. And boy, the fielding miscues have been big in this game for Lima, but the Scouts will certainly take it. Wright and Chambers come to score on the play. It is now 6-4 in favor of the Scouts.
I believe it should be
7-4, excuse me. 7-4.
Our scoreboard out there is a little behind, but yeah, it is 7-4 here in Grady's Field. What I say, Bertelsmann doing a good job putting the ball in play with 2 strikes there. I gave him the base hit.
Pitch is in there for a call strike. Well, let's see here. They've given the error, I believe, on the first baseman Beloso. That's now the 3rd error of the night for Lima. So you're saying Bertelsmann reaching via the single but advancing the second on the air.
On the air, yeah.
That is a pitch that is popped up on the infield. Calling for it is Simon, and Simon will make the catch for the second out of the frame as Darnell goes down. So Bertelsmann reaches via single, advances to second on the catching error by Beloso, the first baseman. And now Felix King will come to bat here. He's still got a runner in scoring position, that being Bertelsmann. So an RBI opportunity for the Scouts' first baseman as he fouls it back. 0-1 the count on Felix King.
And King here going to try to extend the lead. Bertelsmann on second. We know Bertelsmann's got some wheels. Base hit could score him here.
King, the batter, takes a strike. 0-2 on Felix. Jordan Marks, right-hander on the mound, sophomore out of the University of South Carolina upstate. Here's the pitch. It's up high. 1-2 the count. It's been a good night so far for the Scouts. as they lead 7-4 and to rally back from an early 4-0 deficit. But now they're up by 3. King swings and misses. And that will end the 5th inning for the Scouts. But 3 more runs cross the plate for Xenia on a couple of base hits. A man is left on base. We head to the top half of the 6th. It is Xenia 7, Lima 4. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Next inning.
Next half inning. Should be. Yeah. She said when the Scouts come back up again. But it might be a full inning technically. I don't know how long she's going to be taking pictures.
Great. Wow, Eater's still out there.
Yeah.
How about that? Nice.
Is it now? Okay. Yeah, that is now. Okay.
Ground ball over to third as the top of the 6th begins in smashing order. It is a ground out for Tyler Simon. 5-3 in the scorebook. First out of the frame. It is Xenia leading Lima 7-4. I'm Charlie Danis, and joining me now in the broadcast booth is the guy that's going to be writing the stories for Xenia this year. The guy who's going to be writing all the articles, that being Luke Sievert. Luke, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Caleb Eater delivers a ball down low. 1-0 the count. Boy, Luke, it has been quite the turn of events for Xenia here tonight as Eater rocks and deals, and that pitch is going to be inside for a ball. You know, we all saw the blowout win for the Locos last night, so good to see the Scouts being able to battle back here against a very tough Lima squad, as this is going to be a ground ball in the hole. Orlando's going to have to gun it, and Orlando's able to get him by a whisker. What a throw by Noah Orlando. 2 away.
Yeah, Charlie, like you mentioned last night, that was obviously a tough loss for the Scouts, but Coach Cates, the manager of the Scouts, gave me a great quote. He said, "It would hurt a lot more if this was like a football game and we had to wait a week to play them again, but we get to come back out here tomorrow night and go back at it," and obviously they're taking advantage of that tonight.
That's the beauty of baseball. You always get a crack at it the very next day, as Jackson Shirley now swings and misses quickly. 2 gone here in the top half of the 6th inning. Eater with the pitch up high for a ball. Boy, you saw that play made by Noah Orlando just a moment ago. How fantastic has he been with the glove? I'll get your answer in just a moment after this pitch by Eater. So that pitch is inside for a ball.
He just continues to light it up in the field. I mean, as soon as we saw him play in the first game in Hamilton on Saturday, he immediately started the season with some fantastic defense, and he's continued that throughout the beginning of the season.
Swung on and missed by Shirley as the count will now move to 2 balls and 1 strike. Eater with the high leg kick and the pitch. And this will be a ground ball to the shortstop. Orlando once again. Orlando with the throw. And the throw is true. It is a 1-2-3 inning for Caleb Eater as he continues to get stronger and stronger as this game rolls along. We head to the bottom half of the 6th. It is the Scouts leading the Locos 7-4. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
That's pretty fun.
top half of the, or actually bottom half of the sixth inning, I should say. It'll be Jarrett Lindsay leading things off for Xenia. The Scouts holding a 7-4 lead over the Locos. Charlie Danes continuing to visit here with Luke Siebert, the resident reporter for the Scouts here in 2018. Lindsay now working with a 1-0 pitch. Here comes Marks with the 1-0, and that is in there for a called strike. You know, speaking of pitching, Luke, how about the efforts of Caleb Beater? Got off to a rough start, but has settled down quite nicely.
Yeah, he's been fantastic tonight. And another thing, speaking with manager Cates earlier in this week,
1-0 pitch is in there for a call strike.
He kept mentioning in the first couple of games how excited he was about this pitching staff, and then they came out last night and gave up 24 runs on 23 hits. So I'm sure he's very excited to see this outing from Eater tonight, and hopefully the bullpen will keep that going after they take Eater out in the later innings.
1-2 pitches outside for a ball, 2-2 the count. Yeah, Eater has really done a nice job of settling down after that inning in which he gave up, let's see here, 3 runs in the top half of the third, as that pitch is swung on and missed by Jarrett Lindsay. He'll go down on strikes for the first out of the inning. I'll bring Nick Tuttle to the plate. Tuttle, a second baseman, walked and scored in the third, grounded out to the pitcher back in the fourth. So he's actually officially 0 for 1 on the night. Orlando will be waiting on deck in the meantime. Scouts, 7 runs on only 2 hits, 1 error in the field, 4 runs, 3 hits, and a whopping 4 errors made in the field by the Locos, as the Scouts have repeatedly taken advantage of a lot of fielding miscues by Lima this evening. 0-1 pitch on the way, and Tuttle swings and grounds this one out to the first baseman. Throw over to first, and did Tuttle beat it? No, he did not. Beating into the bag just in time was Marks. Put that down as a 3-1 ground out in your scorebook for the second out of the inning. So now Noah Orlando will come to the plate. Orlando reached on a fielder's choice and scored back in the third. Reached on an error by the shortstop back in the fifth. He also scored in that one. Orlando taking a pitch outside for a ball. You know, Luke, you and I were talking just moments ago about what Orlando brings to the table as a fielder. He's also been a pretty solid number 9 hitter, wouldn't you say?
Yes, for sure. He's got that speed, too. Coach Cates has mentioned to me before how he's planning on using many athletic guys on the Xenia Scouts team. When they're on the base paths, he wants to be an aggressive runner. And we've seen that tonight as some guys have been able to beat out some throws, steal some big bags, and continue to do that throughout the year.
2-0 pitch, grounded to the second baseman. It gets away from the first baseman, Beloso, once again. Boy, it has been a night to forget for the Locos first baseman, Beloso, that time. He has seen a lot of throws get by him, over his head, to his side. Been a very, very tough night as Orlando, is able to advance to second all the way on the throw. Second time tonight that Orlando's been able to reach via an error. That'll go E4. That'll be an error on the second baseman, Privatera. And that's now 5 errors on the night for the Locos. Luke, Lima has been shooting themselves in the foot tonight.
They really have been. And, you know, last night they were able to win, obviously, because of an offensive explosion. But it's interesting to see how when those bats aren't working quite as well, how they've managed to basically beat themselves tonight. The Scouts only recording 2 hits so far.
Carson Wright, now the batter for the Scouts. Wright takes the pitch down low. Count even a 1-1 strike. Wright has grounded out to short. He has singled. And he has also walked. He's also scored a couple runs as well. Wright looking to knock a man in from second. Orlando takes his lead. Orlando going. And Orlando sliding to the third. He will be in there safely.
And that is the speed I just mentioned a couple minutes ago. Very fast runner on the base pass, and one of many speedy guys that the Scouts have this year.
Well, and another thing, Luke, too, I've been very impressed with head coach Bubba Cates and how aggressive he has been with his quote-unquote athletes on the base pass. really dictating the tempo against teams early on here in 2018. 1-2 pitch is swung on, and this is a fly ball out to left field, drifting foul.
I agree with you there, Charlie, for sure. I think it was after the loss to the Joes on Sunday, the first home game of the year, when he discussed with me the athleticism of this team, and he stressed to me that he would be using them as much as possible on the base pass, using that speed, taking advantage of that, and being aggressive. And it's definitely created some runs here tonight.
Orlando at third. Wright will take a pitch up high for a ball, 2-2 the count. As it continues to get more and more cloudy overhead. Didn't see any rain in the forecast, but hey, then again, we're in the state of Ohio, and pop-up storms are bound to appear during the summer months. 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Another fly ball down the left field line, and again, it'll be foul as that will just about hit the fencing facing the batting cages down there that the scouts like to use down the left field line. Count will remain at 2-2 on Carson Wright. Chandler Chambers patiently waiting on deck for the scouts. Carson Wright. The pitch, it's swung on, and it's going to bloop in there for a base hit just over the head of the shortstop, Diffley. Coming in to score is Noah Orlando. Give Carson Wright an RBI single. The Scouts stretch their lead to 8-4. So now Chandler Chambers will come to the plate. Struck out swinging. He's walked, and he's also reached on a bunt base hit. That was very key during that 3-run fifth inning that allowed the Scouts to take their first lead of the game. So Chambers comes to bat. By the way, I would be remiss not to mention this. Go ahead, head to XeniaScouts.com. Luke Sievert, like Riley Harshman and I, we're going to be covering the Scouts all summer long. Check out Luke's stories. Luke is a very good writer and does an excellent job of covering this team, and we look forward to working with him as this ball will be caught by Beloso for the final out of the frame. Now, we have played, let's see here, 6 innings, we have played some very good baseball here between the Scouts and the Locos. Xenia leading the Locos 7-4. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Awesome. Thanks for letting me.
And we're back with some Xenia Scouts baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. I'm Riley Harshman. My partner, Charlie Danis, is taking over the PA duties this inning. Coming up for the Locos now is 9-hole hitter Christian Waltman. Waltman today has walked and scored. He's also grounded into and out at third base, and that was way back in the fourth, so it's the first time we've seen Waltman in a few innings. Waltman donning the number 23, as we all know, or 32, as I should say. Actually, we might have a pinch hitter here for the Locos. Yep, that is Daniel Series coming up to the bat for the Locos. He was the catcher we saw last night, and he actually smacked 2 home runs for the Locos last night, so not surprising to see Coach Jared Gaynor putting in Series after having a great game last night. And first pitch swings at Flying foul into the Scouts bullpen for strike number 1. Yeah, series smacked 2 home runs last night for the Locos, both 2-run shots. Also had a couple other hits, part of the offensive explosion that was the Lima offense last night. Gainer here, Coach Gainer trying to get some runs on the board as he is behind late. Eater from the stretch delivers. Series with a check swing, but he delivers. Series with a check swing, but he went around too much as called by the home plate umpire, and he'll find himself in the 0-2 hole here to Eater. Eater definitely wants to get Series out, knowing Series was part of the big reason the Locos won by such a large margin last night. And even though catcher Jarrett Lindsay couldn't quite come up with that ball, but nothing happening over at first base. The count goes to 1-2. Eater here definitely wants to produce a ground ball, get out of this inning, get rid of Series. Eater comes set, delivers, and called strike 3 on Daniel Series for out number 2 of this 7th inning. Eater gotta love that call. Put down a great breaking pitch, breaking from the inside all the way down, and called strike 3 by the home plate umpire. The Scouts have 2 outs here in the 7th. So they are up 8-4 against the Locos here in the 7th. Eater comes set to the new hitter John Privatera. And Privatero's foul one, deep but foul, towards the batting cages on the Xenia Scouts side of the baseball field. The Xenia Scouts dugout to my left and on the third base line, and Loco dugout to my right and on the first base line. The 0-1 to Privatera. And he lines one up the middle out to center field. Now get down for a base hit. And the Locals will have something going on here with 2 outs, men on first and second. Privatera with a great piece of hitting right there. Got a ball over the plate and drove it out to center. It's exactly where every hitter wants to hit it, up the middle. Now, batting for the Locos will be shortstop Michael Diffley, but not before a mound visit by Coach Bubba Cates. Wants to go out there and talk to his right-hander. Knows he's got to be tired after already throwing 6 2/3. Longest any Scout pitcher has gone so far this year. And Coach Cates will signal to his bullpen, and the Scouts dugout will come out and greet their right-handed pitcher after a brilliant performance here tonight. I'll get you to his final line when we come back. It is the Scouts 8, Lima Locos 4 here in the 7th inning with 2 outs, as we'll have a new pitcher for the Scouts when we come back here on this. This is Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Well, a new pitcher on the mound for the Scouts. Top half of the seventh, 2 outs. As Andrew Verbrugge delivers a first pitch ball, taking over for Caleb Eater, who turned out to have quite the game tonight. Did more than enough to put the Scouts in a position to win this evening. 1-0 pitch from Verbrugge. That pitch is down low for a ball. Here's the numbers for Eater. 6 2/3, 4 runs on 5 hits. All the runs were earned. 5 walks and 2 strikeouts.
Very good night for Eater there. Was able to keep that run total for the Locos way down from last night.
2-0 pitch from Verbrugge's in there for a call strike. 2-1 the count. Tyler Anshaw is the pinch hitter, taking over for Michael Diffley. And boy, Anshaw had himself a heck of a night last night. Had a homer, all sorts of extra base knocks, as that pitch is swung on and missed by Anshaw. 2-2 the count. Verbrugge looking to get out of this inning. It'll now be up to the bullpen from here on out to preserve this 8-4 lead for the Scouts.
And Anshaw did have that great game last night, but so did Series, and Series struck out looking that last night.
Verbrugge's swing delivers. It's a high fly ball into center field, and the catch will easily be made by Welch, as that will be the final out of the frame. No runs, couple of hits, and a couple men left on base, but nothing to show for it offensively there for the Locos. It is stretch time here at Grady's Field. The Scouts leading the Locos 8-4.
Scouts will be on the road Thursday and Friday against the Graders, but we will return home on the 16th and 17th to take on the Joes at 7:05 and 4:05 respectively. We hope to see you here Saturday as we take on the Joes at 7:05.
All right, let's come back. Bottom half of the seventh. Scouts leading the Locos 8-4 as Xenia is inching closer and closer potentially to its first win of the young 2018 season. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis.
Number 7, Graham Welch.
Graham Welch will come to the plate. And Welch will take a strike, 0-1 the count. Welch on the night has grounded out to first. He has flied out to right and also had a sacrifice bunt earlier in this game. So officially he's 0 for 2 on the night. Next pitch is swung on and missed by Welch, and now he finds himself in a 0-2 hole against the right-hander Marks.
And the Scouts don't want to get too comfortable with this 4-run lead. We know what the Locos bats can do.
Pitch is up high for a ball. As Jordan Marks continues to work up there on the hill for Lima, it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That is swung on and fouled off to the left. Now, Mr. Harshman, we were talking earlier in this game about on-base percentage, the focus of our stat of the night. Talked about how Ted Williams continues to hold the record for best career on-base percentage. That's a ground ball over to second. Welch will be thrown out, and that is going to be the first out of the frame, 4-3.
Yeah, on-base percentage is a very important statistic in baseball today, as we talked about. I mean, it just measures how good a batter you are. Not necessarily a hitter, but how good a batter, how good you can get on base. And getting on base is one of the most valuable things you can do as an offensive player in baseball.
Ryan Bertelsmann now coming to the plate for the Scouts, and he'll foul one off to the right. Bertelsmann has grounded out to the shortstop twice and has also singled in this game, officially 1 for 3. Bertelsmann, one of those guys that so far has been doing a nice job of getting on base this season for the Scouts as he takes a ball up high. 1-1 the count. You know, Riley, I once read a book by, let's see here, Keith Law, former front office executive for the Toronto Blue Jays, now an analyst for ESPN as Bertelsmann takes another ball. 2-1 the count. Recently wrote a book called Smart Baseball. Talked about how analytics is really playing a big part in baseball. Some of the stats that you should pay attention to, some of the stats that we should simply throw out. As Bertelsmann swings, and Bertelsmann will not have another hit. That was a fantastic sliding catch out there in center by Davis. He robbed Bertelsmann of a base hit that time. That'll go down as a simple F8 on the scoreboard with a very nice play by the center fielder Davis for the second out.
Number 15, Dugan Darnell.
But in that book, by law, as Dugan Darnell comes to the plate for the Scouts, he talked about how on-base percentage is a better indicator as to how great of a batter you are when compared to a stat such as batting average. For so long, batting average was the golden standard. If you're able to get over 300, that's great. As Darnell takes a strike, 0-1 the count on Dugan Darnell. Next pitch from Marks. That is outside for a ball, 1-1 the count. But on-base percentage, it's not necessarily now about going up there and getting a hit. If you are an analytics guy, you subscribe to the theory, as Darnell fouls that one back to the screen. You subscribe to the theory on OBP is life, in that it's not about getting a hit. It's about going up there and trying to get on base, which flies in the face of what has been the philosophy for many, many years in baseball, getting a hit. As that one is fouled back to the screen once again, 1-2 the count on Dugan Darnell.
And there's more than one way to win a baseball game, and that's exactly what on-base percentage these theorists are saying is, like, you just need to get on base. The more base runners you have, the more likely you are to score.
Darnell swings and misses for strike 3 as the Scouts go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom half of the 7th. If you would, I would like to continue this conversation, but we have to take a break. We head to the top half of the 8th. Scouts doubling up the Locos at the moment, 8-4. This is Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Top half of the 8th. The Locos coming to bat once again. The Scouts holding an 8-4 lead over Lima. Back to the hill, Andrew Verbrugge, the 6'4", 175 right-hander out of Hillsdale College. Verbrugge rocks and deals and pitches a strike. We were talking last inning about the importance of get right down to it. 1-1 pitch on the way. And that pitch is down low for a ball.
We've been talking about on-base percentage, so maybe it's a good idea to tell the folks how to calculate that.
As Beloso, the batter, takes a ball. It's now a 3-1 count on Cade Beloso, who has walked, singled, and grounded out to second.
Good way to calculate your players' OBPs. You have to add their hits, walks, and hit by pitches.
Pitch is outside for a ball.
So you
As
take
Verbrugge walks the batter.
So you take the hits, walks, and hit by pitches, add that up, and you divide that sum by the sum of the player's at-bats plus walks plus hit by pitches plus sacrifice flies. And that's how you typically get the on-base percentage of a player.
Tyler Simon now batting for the Locos. Pitch is in there for a call strike. I'll leave it at this. Batting average tells a part of the story. I truly believe that on-base percentage tells the whole story. Therefore, it's a more valuable statistic than batting average. Batting average is nice. Batting average is a nice statistic to look at. But if you're looking for a complete statistic telling you how a player does as a batter, look no further than on-base percentage.
And you're absolutely right with that.
1-1 pitch is outside for a ball, 2-1 the count.
Because I think the batting average tells the audience how good a hitter is, whereas on-base percentage tells you how good the batter is, because there's a lot more to being a batter than just hitting the baseball.
2-1 pitch, and it's a high bouncer that's going to end up being foul. So the walk by Beloso. Tyler Simon now at bat. Anthony Amacangello, the designated hitter, on deck for the Locos. It is Xenia 8, Locos 4. And how about this? The Scouts have scored their 8 runs on only 4 hits tonight. The Locos have been throwing the ball all over the yard tonight with 5 errors in the field thus far.
And the Scouts have done a good job cashing in on opportunity.
And Simon, meanwhile, takes a pitch right square in the middle of his back. It'll be a hit by batter. And this is not the type of start that you were looking for if you were Andrew Verbrugge and the Scouts to begin the top half of the 8th.
Not at all. You don't want to start out with a walk and a hit by pitch, but that's where Verbrugge is done. But he just needs to bear down here, get a ground ball. A lot of opportunity for some force outs here.
So Amacangello will now come to bat. He has grounded out to second. He's also singled. And he's also grounded out to short. 1 for 3 on the night thus far. Amacangello waving the bat around a little bit. Long look in by Verbrugge, and now he finally delivers. That pitch in there for a call strike as Verbrugge is able to get ahead with the fastball. 0-1 the count. Verbrugge features multiple arm slots. He can go high, he can go in the middle, and he can drop down low like a submariner. That time he went about 3/4 and delivers the ball. 1-1 the count.
We talked about how those arm slots can really confuse a hitter because you're looking for that window, but when it changes every other pitch, it's very hard to get your timing down.
1-1 pitch. And that catches the outside corner for a call strike. Verbrugge gets ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And he needs to stay ahead here. I don't think he should mess around. He messed around a little with Tyler Simon and ended up hitting him. I think he needs to get this guy out now.
1-2 pitch. And that almost hit Amacangello. Came inside. Luckily for Verbrugge, that did not happen. So now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still nobody out here in the top half of the 8th. Runners on first and second for the Locos, who trail the Scouts 8-4. Pitch just inside. So now we'll go full 3-2. Okay, what should the thought process be for Verbrugge on this next pitch?
Verbrugge needs to get the ball in the zone, obviously. I think he's got to think fastball here. Got to go to your go-to pitch. He's got to get a fastball somewhere low in the zone.
Big pitch. Here it comes, and it's swung on and grounded up the third baseline. Foul. So it'll remain 3 balls on 2 strikes on Amacangello. Jackson Shirley waiting on deck for the Locos. The lights are shining bright here at Grady's Field. And actually a beautiful sky overhead with a couple of clouds. Some of the clouds are actually pink above us. How pretty. To the pitch. That's a grounder. Off the foot of Verbrugge. And it looks like everybody is going to be safe. Well, depending upon which team you are rooting for on this particular broadcast, that's a bad bounce for Xenia. That's a lucky bounce if you're Lima. And so now the plot has definitely thickened here, as the bases are now loaded for Lima and still nobody out. Locos down 8-4, but now the tie run comes to the plate, and now Bubba Cates is going to be coming out here Whether this is going to be a top run for Brugge or perhaps a potential pitching change, we do not know. For right now, nobody is warming up in the pen. And actually, as I say that, looks like Thomas Flesser is going to be heading down to the pen with another one of the Scouts catchers, presumably to get warmed up.
What Case has got to do here with this mound visit, he's going to talk to his infield. He's going to get them positioned to where he wants them to. Likely he's going to have the corners in so they can make a play at the plate, and likely the middle infielders are going to be at double play depth to get 2 outs. The Scouts are up by 4 runs here, and they've been holding pretty true to that pretty well today. You got to think Case would trade a run for 2 outs on a ground ball up the middle.
Xenia 8, Lima 4. Top half of the 8th. Bases loaded. Nobody out for Lima as they attempt to battle their way back into this game. And during this inning, we'll get you updated with scores around the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League. But in the meantime, big moment here as Jackson Shirley comes to the plate. Bases loaded, nobody out. Shirley 0 for 2 on the night with a walk. The pitch. Swung on, and this is popped way in the air out towards right field. We might have a play at the plate right here. A throw. Well, it's actually going to go into second. They will concede the run. The catch is made by Wright for the first out. F9. Coming in to score on the play was Beloso. That cuts the Xenia lead to 3-8-5.
And that was a good pitch there by Verbrugge.
And fouls it back towards the screen.
So a lot more favorable situation here for Verbrugge on the mound.
So Davis working with an 0-1 count. He has lined out to shortstop, flied out to center field, and flied out to left as well. 0-1 pitch, down low for a ball, 1-1 the count. Verbrugge would like nothing more than to add a potential ground out to the line score for Davis. Ground ball that perhaps could get him out of the inning. 1-1 pitch. This might be it. 4, 6, 3, no. They get the runner at second, but they're not able to turn it in time as Davis is able to beat out the throw on a fielder's choice. Going to third on the play is Simon. Out at second was Amacangello.
Now, Verbrugge's got 2 outs here, but he's got runners on the corner, so he has to make sure he's careful. He doesn't want to let that run slide on by.
Verbrugge checks and throws. Down low for a ball. A couple scores around the GLSCL. St. Clair leading Hamilton 5-4 in the top half of the 8th in Hamilton. Cincinnati beating Muskegon 8-6 in the bottom half of the 7th. That taking place in the Queen City of Cincinnati. 1-1 pitch. That's a liner. Is it fair? Yes, it is. That'll rattle in the corner. 1 run comes in to score. Another run will be coming in to score. And the runner will go into third base. It'll be a triple for Casablanco. So now things have really got interesting here. And boy, how big is that ground ball that got the second out of the inning? Scoring on the play, Simon and Davis. It's now Xenia 8, Lima 7. Boy, without that ground ball that got Amacangello out at second, you'd be looking at a tie ball game right now. As it stands, it goes down as a 2-run triple for Casablanco.
A tough break for Verbrugge there. That ball was just inches away from being foul, but it was fair. It was a shot off of Casablanco's bat. He was able to get the triple.
And now coming to bat is Daniel Series, who, oh, by the way, had a couple of homers in last night's blowout win for Lima. Verbrugge will go to work, and he'll pitch a strike. Gets ahead 0-1. So the potential tying run sits at third in the form of Casablanco. And Series, the catcher, trying to do his part to knock him in. and tie this bad boy at 8. Scouts have other plans as that pitch is in there for a call strike. And oh boy, Series turned away in disgust. He clearly was not in love with that call.
Yeah, so far this outing, Verbrugge's really been testing the spin rate on his curveball because he's been throwing them inside, getting the hitters, I should say, to think they're getting hit, and they get fooled.
So now an 0-2 count on the catcher, Daniel Series. Right-handed batter out of Kennesaw State University. Back in the batter's box goes Series. Verbrugge, meanwhile, with the 0-2 pitch. That's outside for a ball, and Jarrett Lindsey had to lunge at that one to try to keep that ball, to get away from him and go to the backstop. Otherwise, it would have been easy for Casablanca just to trot on home.
And tie up this ball game. Very heads-up play by Jarrett Lindsey there, keeping that ball in front of him.
Verbrugge, 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Verbrugge strikes out Series to end the inning. But 3 runs come across the plate for the Locos. And only 1 base hit. Actually, 2 base hits, in that inning. A man left, stranded at third. We head to the bottom half of the 8th. Xenia leading by the slimmest of margins, 8-7 over the Locos. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Love this song, but yeah. It's not the hype song.
Insurance.
Yeah, insurance would not hurt.
We got 31 people listening to us. We head now to the bottom half of the 8th. Scouts with an 8-7 lead over the Locos. Xenia trying.
Number 24, Felix King.
Scouts trying to get their first win of the 2018 season.
And you got to think the Scouts want to get some insurance runs here. They're only up 1 with 6 outs left to go.
Felix King will take a strike. King has had a tough night at the plate. He's grounded out to third twice, and he's also struck out swinging 0 for 3 so far for the Scouts' first baseman. King waving the bat around. 1-0 pitch. And that's a ball. 1-1 the count. Scouts, 8 runs on 4 hits, 1 error in the field for them. Locos, meanwhile, 7 runs on 6 hits, 5 errors in the field for Lima. That has been the big difference here tonight. Ooh. That is a foul ball, and oh my goodness, that bat almost took out Bubba Cage down the third baseline as King unfortunately let go.
Didn't seem too fazed by it, though, did Bubba.
You know, I think that might be the first time we have seen a batter other than, oh goodness, who's
Carter Boswell.
Yeah, Carter Boswell, who's let go of the pitch a couple times. I keep telling our listeners that guy really needs to apply some stickum to the gloves just to make sure that he holds on to that thing. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's up high for a ball. As King continues to work against the right-hander, Marks for Lima.
No, King here struggling a little bit today, but 1 base hit can change all that.
2-2, swung on and fouled off to the right. Approaching 9:30 Eastern Standard Time here in the city of Xenia, Ohio. Scouts leading the Locos 8-7. 2-2 pitch. Here it is. King swings and fouls it off as he continues to put up a pretty strong battle. By the way, finishing up some scores around the GL-SEL. Saginaw losing to Southern Ohio 3-0. That game is in the top half of the second. Apparently, they dealt with a lot of rain today. Lake Erie, meanwhile, up 5-0 over Licking County in the bottom half of the third. And Richmond closing in on a victory, perhaps, over Irish Hills. They lead the Leprechauns 7-4 in the top half of the eighth. That pitch is in there for a call, strike three. King, not exactly happy with that call as he becomes the first out of the inning. So now Jarrett Lindsay will come to the plate. Lindsay officially 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored in this game. The Scouts catcher.
And the Scouts definitely need base runners here. They're going to that bottom half of the order. They need base runners.
The pitch taken for a ball. 1-0 the count.
Because as we saw last night, Locos had the lead the whole time, but you got to figure with bats like theirs, no lead is safe, and one run definitely isn't a safe lead.
1-0 pitch on the way, and that is outside for a ball. 2-0 the count on Jarrett Lindsay. Nick Tuttle is going to be waiting on deck, and if either one of those gentlemen reaches, we get to see Nora Orlando bat in this inning.
Who's been giving Lima Locos defenders problems all day, it seems.
He has reached on a couple errors. You'd be correct in that assumption, Mr. Harsman. 3-0 pitch upcoming here from the right-hander Marks. He sets. Now he delivers. That's outside. No, actually, I take that back. It was a called strike. 3-1 the count.
Umpires never seem to like to give those 4-ball walks out, so got
3-1 pitch. That swung on and missed. Yeah, no choice but to give Lindsay a strike on that one.
Very good pitch there by Marks. Coming back strong here after going down 3-0.
So now it's a 3-2 pitch upcoming here to Lindsay. Marks has a sign and delivers, and that's swung on and missed. Boy, nice job by Marks of coming back in the at-bat as he sets down Lindsay on strikes.
That's not the easiest thing to do, to go 3 straight balls and throw 3 straight strikes. Good on Marks there, coming back strong at that at-bat.
So now Nick Tuttle will come to the plate. Tuttle, the second baseman, takes a strike from Marks. On the night, Tuttle has walked and scored. Grounded out to first. Grounded out to first. Actually, I take that back. Grounded out to the pitcher, then grounded out to first. That is swung on and fouled by Tuttle. No balls and 2 strikes on Nick Tuttle. Boy, look at Connor Boswell hustling and getting that ball as his hair flaps in the breeze. 0-2 pitch. Call, strike 3. Mark strikes out the side to set down the Scouts 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the 8th. We head to the top half of the 9th. The Scouts looking to close out their first win of 2018. They lead the Locos 8-7 here on your home for Xenia Scouts Baseball, the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Top of the order, Privatera and Sean Beloso. Yeah. Rudy's still out there. Rudy's got some nice breaking stuff.
Yeah. Let's just hope he can close the deal. Oh, hey, do me a favor. Text Dave and remind him, hey, if we end up winning this game, send a player of the game up here for us to interview. Who would be a good candidate besides Eater?
I would say Eater because it hasn't been like our bats have been crazy. I would say it'd have to be Eater if we win this game.
And see if Eater would like to come up so that we win this game. You got your microphone ready, by the way? Your third microphone?
Yeah, I can hit it.
Yeah. All right, let's hope that we call a win here. Top half of the 9th. Scouts hoping to put the finishing touches on what would be their first win of 2008. His third inning of work. He came on in relief of Caleb Eater, who ended up tossing a very solid game for the Scouts here tonight. So Verbrugge will now go to work on John Privatera. Privatera greets him with a fly ball out to center. One pitch, one out.
That's exactly the start Verbrugge needed to get that quick out right away. Now he's 2 outs away from the Scouts' first win of the season.
But first he has to face a formidable batter in Tyler Anshaw. Again, this guy had a big night at the plate last night, which included a homer. Anshaw, the left-handed batter, makes his way out into the batter's box against Verbrugge, the right-hander. Verbrugge kicks and fires. That pitch is down and inside. 1-0 the count on Anshaw. Infield playing Anshaw straight up. Straight away is the outfield for the Scouts. 1-0 the pitch. And that is inside, so now 2-0 for Verbrugge. At least in the beginning stages of this at-bat with Anshaw being rather cautious. I do not blame him one bit.
And sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to pick your pitches carefully up there, pitcher.
2-0 pitch. That is taken for a call strike. 2-1 the count. Big pitch right here. Typically a fastball count, but let's see if Verbrugge tries to change things up a little bit. 2-1. That's down low.
Verbrugge's had a lot of success so far today, throwing those breaking balls for strikes. So we'll see if he comes in with the 3-1 breaking ball.
Verbrugge with the 3-1 delivery. That is swung on. It is another high fly ball out in center. Welch will call for it and make the catch for the second out. So now the Locos are down to their final out of the game. All that stands between a potential Scouts win is the first baseman, Cade Beloso. Beloso has walked, singled and scored, grounded out to second, and walked and scored.
Verbrugge here just needs to treat Beloso just like every other hitter he's faced tonight. Doesn't want to get caught in this moment, just wants to get this out right here.
Pitch is in there for a call strike. 0-1 the count.
That's exactly how you want to start this batter. First pitch strike, get ahead, and stay ahead.
0-1. Swung on, and it's a base hit in the left field for Beloso. So that will keep the hopes alive for the Locos as they get the tying run on base with 2 outs. And now Tyler Simon will have a chance to potentially play hero for Lima. Although Verbrugge is hoping to put a damper on that idea. Simon, meanwhile, has reached on the fielder's chase, has flied out to center, grounded out to third, and he has also been hit by a pitch.
And it looks like the Locos sent out a pitch runner out there for Beloso, looking to get some speed for that tying run.
We'll get to the pinch runner in just a moment. In the meantime, Verbrugge back to work on the mound, throw back to first. And that won't be in time as the runner gets back safely. I can't really tell who's out there. Might be Justin Wiley,
I think it is Justin Wiley. I think it was number 2.
Here's a ground ball to short. They'll get the force at second. Chalk up. They'll get the force at second. Chalk up a win for the boys from Xenia as the Scouts get their first win of the 2018 season. They defeat the Lima Locos tonight by a final of 8-7. We will take a quick break. We will be back to wrap things up here at Grady's Field in just a moment. comes back up or comes out potentially. Back here at Grady's Field, they are playing Celebrate by Cool and the Gang, and why not? The Scouts are able to celebrate their first victory of 2018. They defeat Lima tonight by a final of 8-7. Alongside Riley Harshman, I am Charlie Danis, and Riley, this is exactly what the Scouts needed. A night after they got absolutely bludgeoned by Lima by a final of 24-9. They come out and they are able to rally from a 4-0 deficit early on and come back in this game, hold a lead at the last moment, winning by 1 run. I mean, there are a lot of positives to take away from this win.
A lot of positives, and like you said, after getting devastated 24-9 last night against this very same Locos team, how they were able to come back, it speaks to the testament and the resilience of this team.
Have to talk about Caleb Eater, the starting pitcher for the Scouts. The right-hander going 6 2/3, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits, did walk 5, struck out 2. I thought he did an admirable job of pitching around some control issues early and ends up giving them a really quality start. This is the deepest that we have seen a Scouts pitcher, Riley, go this deep in any game so far here in 2018. Caleb Eater just flat out delivered on the mound tonight.
He did. He was, like you said, had some location issues, but he was able to get outs. He was putting the ball in the zone where it's hard for the Locos to get good pieces of wood on him. So that he had a lot of ground outs, a lot of fly outs, Eater did a very good job of pitching the contact and letting his defense do the rest.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Riley, if you are Lima, you got to be kicking yourself because overall you kick the ball around a lot. A lot of high throws, a lot of errors. They end up totaling 5 errors, Lima does, in the field, which is why, if you look at the box score tonight, 8 runs for the Scouts, but only on 4 hits. That's what you call take advantage of opportunities that present themselves, and that was the case tonight for the Scouts, as they were able to take advantage of those mistakes.
Yeah, they were taking advantage of every mistake they could get. Noah Orlando, I think, was a proponent of that. He got on for some errors and a couple wild pitches, was moving runners every time that the Scouts could move and get runners in a scoring position. They could score on errors. They were doing it. They were very aggressive tonight on the base paths.
And for what I understand, I think we might be joined by a very special guest in the booth here, our first player of the game. So we're going to keep it locked right here. Again, it is the Scouts that win tonight. They defeat the Locos by a final of 8-7. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis. First win of the 2018 season for the Scouts. We mentioned Caleb Eater, the right-hander, is for Indiana Wesleyan University, a guy that had to step up on the mound tonight for the Scouts, and he was able to turn in a very good performance tonight. Let's talk more about Eater for just a second, Riley. What stood out to you about him tonight?
The control of his fastball was very impressive. He was putting that fastball exactly where he wanted it all night. That's always good. The first thing you want to do as a pitcher is command with your fastball and let everything else come after that. He also had some very good breaking stuff later on tonight. That's how he was able to go so long.
We'll take a timeout here real quick, and when we return, we'll be joined by our player of the game. Stay tuned. The Scouts defeat the Locos tonight, 8-7. Finally, back here on the Scouts post-game show, Xenia defeating Lima tonight by a final. Finally, back here on the Scouts post-game show, Xenia defeating Lima tonight by a final of 8-7, and a guy that played a big role in that win for the Scouts. That would be the right-hander Caleb Eater, who was able to start on the mound tonight. He now joins us in the booth. Well, Caleb, congratulations. Team gets the first win. You get your first win of the season. I want to start off talking about the beginning of the game. It seemed like you had a little bit of control issues early down, but you were able to bear down. Describe your thought process to me as you were battling. Big role in that win for the Scouts. That would be the right-hander Caleb Eater, who was able to start on the mound tonight. He now joins us in the booth. Well, Caleb, congratulations. Team gets the first win. You get your first win of the season. I want to start off talking about the beginning of the game. It seemed like you had a little bit of control issues early down, but you were able to bear down. Describe your thought process to me as you were battling on, especially early on in that game.
I didn't really, it's been a while since I've thrown off a mound other than the other night when we played the Hamilton Joes. My coach, my school coach, he hasn't just didn't get the opportunity to pitch that much at the end of the season last year, or this last year actually. So these first few couple of games that I've been throwing, couple innings, it's just been rough trying to get back out there, trying to really. It's been a while since I've thrown off a mound other than the other night when we played the Hamilton Joes. My coach, my school coach, he hasn't just didn't get the opportunity to pitch that much at the end of the season last year, or this last year actually. So these first few couple of games that I've been throwing, couple innings, it's just been rough trying to get back out there, trying to break the rust off a little bit, But once I did the rust off a little bit, But once I did that, I think you can see on the scoreboard actually where that happened in the third inning. As soon as that was over, it was like, all right, the rust is gone. I'm here. This is how I usually throw. So that's basically what happened. And I knew that if I just kept going out there and throwing and doing what I normally do, it'd come eventually. It just didn't really know when that was going to happen. So, but the third inning, right there, you can see it. That's when it happened.
We saw this Locos offense go off for 22 hits and 24 runs last night. So knowing that you had to start against them again today, what was your mindset going into the start, knowing that they have a good offense?
Did that, I think you can see on the scoreboard actually where that happened in the third inning. As soon as that was over, it was like, all right, the rust is gone. I'm here. This is how I usually throw. So that's basically what happened. And I knew that if I just kept going out there and throwing and doing what I normally do, it'd come eventually. It just didn't really know when that was going to happen. So, but the third inning, right there, you can see it. That's when it happened.
We saw this Locos offense go off for 22 hits and 24 runs last night. So knowing that you had to start against them again today, what was your mindset going into the start, knowing that they have a good offense?
Oh man, I love that stuff. Oh man, I love that stuff. That's what I live for in the school year. I know exactly who the good teams are in the conference and in the league. And basically asked my coach, like, hey, you gotta get me in one of these games if we want to win one, So once I saw that last night, I was just thinking, like, man, I need to get in tonight. I need to throw because this is a game that I'm going to thrive in. This is a game that I'm going to do well in, and that's exactly what I live for in the school year. I know exactly who the good teams are in the conference and in the league. And basically asked my coach, like, hey, you gotta get me in one of these games if we want to win one, So once I saw that last night, I was just thinking, like, man, I need to get in tonight. I need to throw because this is a game that I'm going to thrive in. This is a game that I'm going to do well in, and that's exactly what happened. And I didn't really think much other than, like, last night they were hitting the ball really well. We were just leaving balls over the middle of the plate sometimes. Happened, and I didn't really think much other than, like, last night they were hitting the ball really well. We were just leaving balls over the middle of the plate sometimes. And it didn't really go for me until the last inning there when I got pulled out. But 2 pitches seemed like it was doing enough for me tonight, so it was good.
We were talking with right-hander Caleb Eater as the Scouts were able to defeat the Locos tonight by a final of 8-7. Caleb, the Locos had a 4-0 lead early on in this game, but this team rallies for 4 runs in the 3rd inning. I thought that was a big turning point with right-hander Caleb Eater as the Scouts were able to defeat the Locos tonight by a final of 8-7. Caleb, the Locos had a 4-0 lead early on in this game, but still, you had to take advantage of those opportunities, and you did.
Yeah, absolutely. As for the first 4 games that have been around this team, they've shown a lot of courage in being able to go out, and doesn't really matter about the score. They've just shown that they've been able to go out and put together some runs. Doesn't really matter what happens. Like last night, we lost pretty big, but still, I mean, if you look at the stats from last night, we had 13, 14, 15 hits maybe, 9 runs. Normally, that's enough to win you a game. Almost 90% of the time, that's enough to win you a game. So last night it was just like they just hit better than us, but obviously like we were still going out, we were still putting up runs, and I feel like that's what we're good at. We're just good at stringing runs together. It doesn't really matter what the score is at the time. It's like a 0-0 every time. We just try and go out there and put 1 run up, another run up, another run up, and it doesn't matter how many runs we put up. It's still 0-0. We're still trying to get another run ahead.
Caleb, you had a great outing tonight. What are some things you think you can improve on going into your next start?
Honestly, I wish I could get my changeup going a little quicker, and I think I will now that I started to feel a little better. Once I get that changeup going a little quicker, I think that see a little more strikeouts from me. Hopefully, that's the plan. But if not, then probably just cut down on the walks a little bit. That's always been a big issue of mine. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I just miss by an inch here or there, and end up walking the guy. So hopefully we can cut down on those a little bit as well. But no hit by pitches either, so that's a positive to see. So I wasn't missing terribly. It's obvious to me that there's just an inch on the outside, inch on the inside, maybe low a couple times, and so maybe a little bit more control, a little more fine control.
Well, you certainly did enough to pitch this team to win, Caleb. Hey, congratulations on the first win of the 2018 season. Caleb Eater, the pitcher, joining us here on the post-game show. So, Riley, with the win tonight, they're able to get the monkey off their backs. They're into the win column, the Scouts are. And so now they'll try to make it 2 straight as they're going to be heading up to Galleon. You're going to have the play-by-play for that game, your first rather long road trip, I should say, in the summer of 2008.
Scouts are going to try to keep stringing wins together here. All it takes sometimes is one. One time you can just get one, and sometimes the floodgates can open. So that's what these Scouts are going to be trying to do the next week.
Our final check of the line score. It is Xenia, 8 runs on 5 hits. They leave 3 men on base. They commit 1 error in the field. Meanwhile, for Lima, 7 runs on 8 hits. They leave 5 men on base, and they commit 5 errors in the field. Give the win to Caleb Eater as he improves to 1-0 on the season. Meanwhile, Brett Fettner is the one who gets nailed with the loss for Lima tonight. He is 0-1. And a special shout out to Andrew Verbrugi as he is able to pick up the save. He was able to log some valuable innings for the Scouts coming out of the bullpen. For my broadcast partner, Riley Harshman, this is Charlie Dana saying one final time. The final score tonight from Grady's Field, it is Xenia 8, Lima 7. So long and good night from Xenia, Ohio. 8, Lima 7. So long and good night from Xenia, Ohio.